Hey guys, editing Yeet Loops here. In this video, I talk about Pokemon Champions. I kind of just go through an overview of the pros and the cons of my first impressions of the whole thing. There's a big thing I did not talk about in this video, which I'm kind of putting at the beginning of the video. There's a lot of things that changed in the competitive Pokemon world. There's a lot of held items that are not in the game. There's also a lot of moves. I kind of touch on this a little bit. There's a lot of moves that are not in the game. There's that factor where you don't really have full access to like the full scope of competitive Pokemon in this game. It's kind of more so like an entry point for casual players or people who've never played Pokemon before, just to get familiar with the battle. Something like Pokemon Showdown is always going to be like a superior option, even though that's, of course not made by Nintendo, just because it is free and you have access to making anything you want, of course. But there's kind of like a little bit of a limitation here with the held items and stuff, where there's a little bit of frustration. Like there's in the shop, I believe there's only held items for increasing like specific type moves by like 20%. Like your, I can't think of any items off the top of my head, but like it's all stuff like that. And then you've got like all berries and stuff, but you don't have like Rocky Helmet or anything like that. It's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head that I know for a fact is not in there. But stuff like that, there's a little bit of limitation. So I didn't touch on that. Just wanted to touch on that real quick. Enjoy the rest of the really long video. Gamers, I think we're in some unprecedented territory here. I think a Pokemon game just came out that's not bad. Let's get into it. Pokemon Champions released last night at approximately 11 p.m. EST. A little bit before, honestly. We got the download like probably about like 10 o'clock. I just checked Reddit last night and saw somebody was downloading it, and I was like, oh, cool, I'll download it before I play tomorrow. Turns out I could play that night. Champions, I knew a decent amount about it going into it. Pretty much just what the trailers have shown and how it is going to be a free-to-play mobile Switch cross-platform game where it's Pokemon battle focused, traditional style Pokemon battles with a mix of the different little battle mechanics such as Megas, terrestrial Pokemon, possibly Z moves, possibly Gigantamax, all in the future. I'm having a blast, man. I couldn't put this game down last night. I stayed up way too late last night. There's a lot of things that I like about this game coming from the perspective of somebody who's played mobile games like this before. Huge step for Pokemon as a franchise. It's cool. I have gripes. I have things I don't like, of course. But let's start off with the positive stuff. I'm kind of just going to go through the menu on my own and kind of just talk about it here. This is all completely unscripted. I don't have any notes for this or anything. But just getting into the main menu, handheld on Switch 2, it looks fine. I guess. I'm supposed to get into the positive stuff. I was about to go into something negative. I can't do that. There's a lot of different options of different things to do in this game. The main menu features access to your battle pass level, little VP, little counter there, and then you have the main menus of the battle menu, your box page, training page, shop page, recruit page, your style page, mailbox, missions page, and sub menu all down at the bottom there. Let's start with the recruit portion. I like that you can do the little recruit Pokemon thing and meet a new lineup of Pokemon. You get a new lineup every day, or you can use 11 of the quick coupons to get a new lineup. You can claim one Pokemon from each lineup. You can claim them forever for 2,500 VP, and you can claim them for a trial period for 7 days, I think, for free. But you can also get shiny Pokemon in these, which is really cool. I'm pulling it up now. I also think it's kind of interesting, like, there's a little animation that plays every time you recruit Pokemon, and the silhouettes of the Pokemon that they show, oh my god. I'm going to record, like, a clip of this in the game. I could be completely wrong, but I think this is a shiny Basculegion. I could be wrong. I'm going to look it up right now. I'm going to look it up. No, I was wrong. I didn't know that Basculegion could actually be an all-white Pokemon. But yeah, there's some great options of Pokemon that you can pick from here. Each of these Pokemon have 2 of their base stats maxed out. There are no more IVs in the game. You only pretty much level up your stats with an EV thing. I don't know. You got one base stat for all your stats. They all go up to 32 points, but you can only have so many points on each Pokemon. You kind of can line that up however you want. But yeah, you can recruit Pokemon. They come with a pretty decent moveset most of the time. Sometimes you can roll the hidden abilities. I believe, on here. If not, you can just go back and change them. But yeah, there's a recruit page where you can just like get Pokemon. I don't know if you can transfer the Pokemon back to Pokemon Home or not. I don't know. I'm gonna look at the send back to Pokemon Home thing and just see. Okay, no, it does. It looks like you can send back the Pokemon that you put in from Pokemon Home, but I don't know if you can send back the Pokemon that you get in Pokemon Champions specifically. Let's move on to the battle screen. I'm not really going in any particular order here. You've got ranked battles, casual battles, private battles, online competitions, and battle data. Ranked battles is where you're going to be doing all your shit, basically. That's how you're going to get your VP and all that. You have different tiers for your rank. You got like Pokeball, Great Ball, Ultra Ball, and then like I think the last one is like the Master Ball, and then the champion rank. But you got single battles and you got double battles. That's it for the moment. I think that's kind of like been the thing for like the last like decade or so. I don't really know. I haven't really been into the VGC like this before. Yeah, you got single battles and you got double battles. One thing I noticed about ranking up, so you lose points every time you like lose. Obviously, you gain points every time you win. I haven't ranked up yet past rank 4, but that's mainly only because I've got like I think like a 6-4 win-loss ratio right now in the single battles. So I'm kind of still hanging around that level 4. Yeah, you can kind of level up, get rewards as you please with that. I believe at the end of every season, you kind of get a lump sum of VP based on how far you got rank-wise in the season. And from here, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the battle passes. This mainly does tie into the battles. So each battle, you rank up your battle pass. Yes, this is a Pokemon game with a battle pass. It doesn't suck, though. It doesn't suck. Like, I at first, when I first looked at it, I was like, no. Nope. We're going downhill. But let me explain a couple things. So the free pass that you get, everybody gets a battle pass. Everybody gets the free battle pass, which contains roughly about 15 items or so. You get an item every other level, it seems like. What the premium pass seems to be including is it's giving you a lot of clothing items, and it's giving you access to, you get like a hairstyle. Like I got the ZA, you can get the ZA hairstyle, one of the ZA hairstyles in the you get like some extra tickets, and you get access to some trainer icons and stuff, which, you know, if you're into that, cool. And then the main thing is you do get almost immediate access to some Mega Stones and some Pokemon associated with said Mega Stones. Not really worth it, in my opinion, because we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that right now. Actually, before we do that, since we're on the topic of Pokemon, let's just go through the box and the training little page here before I get to the shop. So your boxes, it's no longer like a system of you got like box 1, box 2, box 3, box 4. It's just one giant box with a scroll wheel. Don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. Held items, you get 6 held items to start off with in the game, and then there's more that you can buy in the shop. But I will also get into that as well. You start off with a, what is it? Let me go to the held item screen. You get a white herb, focus sash, leftovers, lumberry, citrus berry, and quick claw to start off. This might be the same for everybody. I would assume so. I mean, you can look at your Pokemon. You can label them, and you can favorite and unfavorite them as well. You can also filter them by type, recruitment status, favorited, and their name, and you can also sort them by date acquired, recently used, Pokedex number, and name. And you can, and of course, ascending and descending order. But yeah, you can transfer pretty much any Pokemon that are available in the game right now. I will pop that up on the screen because that is pretty important for this game. I usually don't pop things up on the screen, but there you go. There it fucking is, guys. There's something on the screen for you, aside from gameplay that may or may not be relevant to what I'm saying at this moment. Yeah, you can throw your Pokemon in this game, and they don't leave Pokemon home. They are sent to Pokemon Champions, but while they're in Champions, you can't move them from their box in Pokemon Home. So it just has like it's kind of like shaded at, like there's a shadow on the icon for the Pokemon, and there's a little Champions logo next to it to indicate that it's in Champions. Yeah, you can transfer your shinies. Movesets seem to stay the same as long as they are up to par with what Champions is. There are some instances where you're gonna have to change moves of some of your Pokemon. Just like a lot of like interesting moves that just like aren't available. No like basic moves like Tackle, Harden, no Psywave, no Water Gun, no like Pound, no Work Up, no Slam, no Dream Eater, no Splash, no Flame Wheel. There's some move limitations, but it seems to be working out okay. And I'll get into that in a second here, like literally right now, because we're going to the training page. Training page features the Pokemon training, replica teams, and battle tutorials option. The battle tutorials you're going to want to do. You pretty much just have to press A like the whole time unless you've never played Pokemon before and you need to learn how to play the game. Give you a bunch of really nice stuff. So there's a Mega Evolution tutorial that gives you access to the Garchompite, Beedrillite, Gyaradoseite, Steelixite, Haraconite, Aggronite, Manectite, Abomasite. Yeah, you get like 8 Megastones for free. And then there is a Double Battles tutorial that gives you 10,000 VP. There's the Single Battles tutorial that you play as soon as you launch the game. It straight up just launches you into that. You have no choice. You can kind of skip most of it though. There's one for terrains, one for weather conditions, contact versus non-contact moves, status conditions, physical versus special moves, and move priority. So some cool stuff if you're just learning how to get into VHC and learning how, or not VHC, VGC, and learning how all that works. Cool. Getting into Pokemon training. You can modify any stat of any Pokemon. You can change any move of any Pokemon. You can change the nature and the ability of every Pokemon. And the cool thing about this that I think I like the most is not only for the moves is the PP completely maxed out for everything, but for every single move in every single move slot, when you click to change the move, it gives you a list of every single possible move that Pokemon can learn from any type, like anything, TMs, learn moves, egg moves, all that. It's all here, and you can literally just make your Pokemon whatever you want, basically. To fully max out a Pokemon, like if you're going to change all the moves, you're going to change the nature, you're going to change the ability, you're going to change all the stats, you're probably looking at anywhere between 2,000, 3,000 VP a Pokemon. But I mean, honestly, depending on how much you're changing out your team, you really won't have to do this too much. Which leads me to my next thing, the shop. This, and this is surprising. Oh, actually, I did leave one thing out of the training portion. You can enter codes of other trainers' teams and replicate their team. So essentially, like you rent their Pokemon like you would in Coliseum, XD Gale of Darkness, Pokemon Stadium 2, like those kind of games. Rent their Pokemon and you can use them in battle. Now let me get to the shop here. There's a lot of monetization options for this game, and they suck. They suck bad. But that is fine, because we have 2 options in the shop. You have a premier shop. Your premier shop is what you're going to actually spend real money on, and this gives you the option of the premium battle pass, which gives you all the rewards that I stated before. You get an Emboar, I didn't state this, but you get an Emboarite, a Feraligatorite. You get some clothes to make you look like how you did in ZA, and yeah, you get that for $10 if you want all that crap. And then your membership, again, this depends on how many Pokemon, how often you're changing out your team. You can release Pokemon and send them back to the ranch where you recruited them, but the membership does give you the option of 1,000 box space. You get 15 total battle teams. You get exclusive missions and exclusive battle songs. But let's get into that, because you're paying $5 a month for that, or you're paying $50 a year for what? You're not going to have every single one of your Pokemon in Pokemon Champ. I'm not. I'll just, if, you know, a Pokemon's not available for that season, I'll just send them back. Getting the starter pack where you get, like, the little, like, it's like $7 for, like, 50 extra spaces, and you get some other stuff, too. That's really all the money you need to spend on this game if you're going to spend money at all. Because my next point, the biggest point of it all, where I'm, like, genuinely shocked, but I'm so relieved in a lot of ways, because if there were any more level of, like, pay to win or paying for I mean, you don't have to pay for Megastones. It comes off that way at first, but you don't have to pay for Megastones. You have access to roughly every single Mega Stone that's available in the game right now, you have access to that in the shop. With the exception of, I think, the Kalos starters. You can just buy it all. They're 2,000 VP a piece. Not bad. So if you want your, whatever Mega you want, you can get it if you really want to. Then there's the option to buy clothing. You can pimp out your trainer if you want to. I did spend a little bit of VP on some clothes because the starting little kit we got going on, I'm like, I'm not a fan of at all. So yeah, I did that. Upgraded my little guy a little bit, gave him a little stuff. Everything clothing wise is about like roughly between 400 and 3,000 VP an item. You also have access to buying clothing accessories, which is hats, headbands, and glasses. You can customize your hair and your eyes and your accessories. You can also customize your pre-battle pose, your throwing style, your victory pose, and this I really like. It's expensive, at least in regards to the game and how the game functions, but you can buy different songs that you can play while you're battling in the game. It's pretty cool. I really like that little feature there. I think that's awesome. 5,000 VP per song. That's cool. The coolest thing about all this is you can't use real money to get VP. And there is no like advantage to having the premium battle pass outside of the extra cosmetic stuff that you get and access to a Feraligatr and Emboar with their respective Megastones. You get Meganium and its Megastone for free in the battle pass. And honestly, with the new abilities that they've added to the Mega Pokemon, Mega Meganium is the better one anyways, and you get it for free. I just appreciate that there's a free-to-play game out there where you can play the game and get all the stuff, and paying money is completely optional. Again, like, I don't know how many Pokemon you guys are gonna need. I don't think I'm gonna need any more than 80 box spaces, personally. Like, I've got like some shinies in there and stuff like that. You get about roughly 300 VP every time you win a battle. You get roughly, it depends on how you do in the battle, but anywhere between 50 and 150 VP if you lose. And you also have missions that you can do. You have about 5 daily missions that you can do throughout the day, and they're reset weekly, or daily, of course. And then you have weekly missions that you can do as well. All of these, you can get rewards ranging from quick coupons to training coupons to VP. Those are pretty much your options there. But yeah, you got weekly missions. You got starter missions, which are just kind of freebies for everybody. Like, pretty easy stuff to do. The membership missions that you pay $5 a month for, it's like you just get extra training tickets and coupons, and that's about it. And unless you really want to pay the extra money, you don't really need any of this stuff, because it's not all that expensive to get your Pokemon to a position where you can battle competitively successfully. Makes this much more accessible to so many people, and it's cool to have a real Pokemon game that is similar to what Pokemon Showdown is. I like that. One thing that I think would be cool to introduce, and I feel with how this game kind of seems to function, it could be possible, but kind of like a I feel like this game would benefit from a random battle mode, like you just get random Pokemon and the other person gets random Pokemon. Not trying to steal too much from Pokemon Champions, but that would be fun. Like, you've got your ranked battles, you've got your casual. You could probably put it like under casual battles. Like, you could do, pick teams or randomize. I think that would be cool. I'm not shocked, but I'm surprised at everything this offers. Now to get into the gripes, because I've been talking about all the good shit about this game for 20 minutes now. Let's get into the gripes. This game looks like shit on Switch 2. They said that there was going to be a resolution bump or some sort of Switch 2 upgrade. I don't know if it's like built in or anything, but all the icons, like, it looks like a stretched out like 720p. The icons just don't look good at all. Like, they're blurry. The reflections from like the battlefield don't look great. The shadow reflections and shadows from the battlefield don't really look great when you're battling. Pokemon models look good. Animations look fine. I was a little like, I wouldn't necessarily say shocked, but just a little like, come on, guys. When I saw in the tutorial, you have to have Meganium use Bullet Seed for one of the instances, and there's a little animation to Meganium initiating the bullet seed, and then after that it's just standing there, and then the bullet seed is launching, just like in all the other games. I would think that they would kind of, with the extra effort in adjusting some of the animations and adding a whole bunch of new ones for Pokemon, that they would do something like that with it. And like that's really the only thing, like, gripe wise. Other than the fact that, like, you have so many different, like, options for people to pay money in this game. I'm very grateful for the fact that you don't have to. Like, that would really, really, really not be good. But we'll see how this works out. It's been less than like 12 hours, so we'll see how the game works out. 12 hours at the time of recording this. But if you guys like the video, make sure you leave a like. If you didn't like the video, you don't like Pokemon or Pokemon Champions, and that is fine, because you're entitled to your own opinion. So yeah, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.